Hi guys. Today's video I'm doing something different that I have never done before, but I would like to sort of include this in a, if not weekly, at least a series that I'll do a couple of times. Basically, I've seen other people do like pillow talk, chit-chat videos, kind of vlogs, and I decided to do one as well. It's the morning. I'm having my morning coffee, still in my pajamas, no makeup, as you can see. And I thought I would just sort of do this new series where I just talk to you guys and you guys get to know me a little bit more, and I sort of tackle different issues and things like that. So for today's video, I just wanted to talk really kind of quickly about my situation and my experiences as a single mom, and not only that, but a child with special needs. I've never really gone into detail on my channel about my personal life. Those of you who have watched a few of my videos, you notice that I'll talk about my son or things like that, or if you follow me on Instagram, every once in a while I'll post something regarding my son or something like that. But yeah, basically I'm a single mom. My son is 6 years old now, going to be 7 in April, which I can't believe. It just goes by really, really, really fast. And I'm not really going to go into too much detail about, my ex and what happened and why I'm a single parent. Long story short, it wasn't a good relationship. I left, and this is why we're not together anymore. For those of you that are curious, my son's dad does see him. I have full custody, so my son is with me all of the time. He's with his dad every other weekend, which is, hard on him, but is a little nice for me because every other weekend I sort of get time to myself and I can go out with girlfriends or just get some me time and just relax. So it is kind of nice not having my son. As much as I love him, like, it is nice to sort of get some time to myself. And those of you that are single moms, I'm sure you can relate to this about how, you love your children and you would do anything for them and your whole life kind of revolves around them. Even more so, I think, than a parent that comes from like a double family, like if you're married. Because even though naturally I think women and mothers tend to, I don't want to say do more than the fathers, like in a bad way, but it's just natural that mothers kind of pick up the slack and wives pick up the slack a little more than maybe the husbands do. But I think it is different when you're a single parent, because even if your child's father is involved in their life, whatever capacity that is, you're still doing the raising by yourself, and you still have all the responsibilities by yourself. And the loneliness, it gets lonely that you don't have a partner to help you out. It gets overwhelming. Dating as a single parent is a whole other story, and maybe I can do another chit chat video about that. If you guys want to see a video like that, give me a thumbs up or let me know in the comments my thoughts about dating as a single mother, because like I said, that's a whole other video. But yeah, it's definitely challenging. And what makes my situation even more challenging is that my son has special needs. My son is autistic. He's on the autism spectrum, and he was diagnosed when he was about 2.5. The process sort of really started when he was 2, because he wasn't talking, and I noticed just gross motor and developmental delays pretty much since he was a baby. I sort of always knew sort of in my gut that something was off and something was different, even though this was my first child. He's my only child. But when it's your first child, you don't really have that much experience. But I always knew in my gut that something was off, and I kept talking to his pediatrician, and I kept, being told that he'll catch up, it'll be fine. He's just slow. And my gut was telling me something was off. So I actually switched pediatricians, and that pediatrician agreed with me that no, he's behind on all these milestones, and he was a year old and not talking yet. He wasn't walking. So that would definitely be one advice that I would give to any parent, single parent, parent with special needs. It doesn't matter. Any parent, especially mothers, because I feel like women have intuition. But that basically listen to your gut and listen to your intuition. If you feel like something is wrong with your child, get a second opinion. Even if the pediatrician, doctors, whoever is telling you otherwise, go see someone else. And that's exactly what I did. And this new pediatrician kind of confirmed my worries. And that's when the process got started. Without going into too much detail, because this would take forever. But basically, he went for a speech assessment first because, like I said, he wasn't talking. By the time he started with the speech assessment, he was about 2 years old, and he was using a few a few words, but that's about it. So he was first diagnosed with a language delay, and then she also did another assessment along with the pediatrician, and he was diagnosed with a developmental delay. But again, the pediatrician felt that there was something else based on his other characteristics that he had, and he was in daycare at the time, and the daycare was noticing certain things as well. So the pediatrician gave me a form to fill out for the daycare to fill out to get their input, and it was my pediatrician that suggested we try testing for ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder. And long story short, after all this stuff and all these appointments and all these people talking to specialists and assessments and things like that, at about 2.5, he was finally diagnosed. And like I said, he is 6 years old now. So basically, I wanted to make a video about what it's like being a single parent of a child with autism. And whether you're watching this because you know someone that has autism, or your child does, or just your child has special needs, whether you're a single parent or not, it's really difficult. But I think as a single parent, it makes it even more difficult because all the burden is on your shoulders. I think unless you're really lucky where your partner that you split up from, your ex, is really supportive and helps you out. In my case, that is not the case. So this whole process and all the things that I had to go through with my son and continue to this day, it sort of fluctuates right now. But at the beginning, it was all me. And again, without going into too much detail, he basically doesn't agree with the diagnosis. And so that makes it difficult too, because I'm the one doing everything, So yeah, I just sort of wanted to share my story and share that, sort of reach out to other moms out there, other parents that are going through the same thing. That, it's really difficult because, like I said, all the burden is on your shoulders, and it seems like there's always something. When my son was younger, it was getting him diagnosed. Then he was having problems in daycare. Then I started with therapies. He's been to speech therapy, occupational therapy. Then when he was 4 years old and, 5 years old, he went to a preschool because he wasn't ready for kindergarten. So he was entitled to stay in daycare. And what I did was I found a preschool that had autistic kids as well as a few non-autistic children. But obviously their specialty was kids with autism. And he was there. So he was doing that. Plus they had ABA therapy at the school. So I was doing that as well. So between all the therapies, and now he's actually in school. He's in a special school where they have kids with all sorts of problems, but it's basically for kids with developmental delays and autism and things like that. He's in school now, but definitely there's always struggles. I mean, he's getting older now. I notice his behavior. He's having more behavior issues, and he's getting bigger now. He's not a big child by any means. He's tall, but he's actually quite small. But yet he can be really heavy. So when he's resistant and having a tantrum or a meltdown, me physically trying to move him is becoming increasingly difficult because he is getting bigger. So that's definitely a concern and definitely a new thing that I have to deal with. And, you know, now that he has more language, he still has a delay, but he's definitely talking, and he talks quite a bit. But, you know, talking back and yelling and things like that. So with every stage, there's always something new that you have to deal with. And that's something that, I mean, for any child, there's always new obstacles you have to deal with, but especially with kids with special needs, every stage of their life, there's sort of new stressors that you have to deal with. And it's just an added stressor when you're a single parent, and it's all on you. And even if you have family, even if you have friends that are really supportive, you're really on your own because you're the parent, you know. So it makes it difficult and challenging. And I have days where I like to think I'm a patient person. I used to work as a daycare teacher, so I do have experience working with children and working with kids with special needs. So I feel like that helps me out. But I'm also a human being, and I'm just a regular parent. And sometimes I lose my patience, and sometimes I get really frustrated. And lately, my son has been having issues going to sleep. So like last night, he finally went to bed. It was almost 11 o'clock at night, and he has school early in the morning. And I'm trying to get him to sleep by himself, and he'll get out of bed and start yelling and not want to sleep. So that's sort of a new issue that I'm dealing with. So there's always something. But, you know, some days are better than others. Some days are harder than others. But I think just trying to look on the bright side and trying to think like things could always be worse. My situation could always be worse. You know, financially, I have a lot of worries, but at the same time, I have a roof over my head. And my son, you know, might not have expensive clothes and things like that, but he's fully clothed. He has good food to eat. He has lots of toys. He's very loved. He lives in a nice, warm home, you know? So I try to think of those and be grateful for those things that I have, because there are people that are going through much worse. There are people that are living on the street, you know. So people whose children are much, much worse, people whose children, you know, have cancer, have health issues, and they're in and out of hospital, you know. So I think gratitude is really helps you get through things too, and just trying to think of the positive side and trying to think that, you know, God gave you this obstacle for a reason to make you stronger, and to just sort of go with that. Yeah, so that just touches upon a little bit about my story, about my situation with my son. Feel free to leave a comment down below if, you know, if you're a single parent, if you have a child with autism or any sort of special needs. I think the the great thing about YouTube that I've really noticed since joining and since becoming more active now in the community, also Instagram and just social media in general, is that it really is a community, and it really is a great chance for people to talk and connect. So feel free to leave me your comments, and we can have a discussion and, you know, help each other out through the rough times. All right, so I hope you guys have a great day. And I'm also planning to film another video, hopefully today. So today I might get 2 videos up if I'm lucky. But just keep an eye out for that. All right, guys, so have a great day. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next video. Mwah.